Okay, rock and rolling with day 12 of quarantine. This is a Monday. Our Prime Minister just said that we're definitely not quitting the quarantine till the full 4 weeks are up. So we're good to go here. Today's started with an excursion to drop the recycling off at the end of the road. That was followed by a trip to the supermarket, so that it's our supermarket run done for the week. And then home for the rest of the day. It's been a quiet one. Definitely feeling my muscles after all that heavy work digging the clay yesterday, but it was rewarding. Anyhow, so yeah, I've got a not too hectic week as we run into Easter. Good Friday, of course, coming up, which will be a relaxing time. You might have seen a lot of in the news, etc., or if you're looking around video conferencing software, and really the two go-tos I use all the time are Zoom.us and Teams, and each have their own benefits and advantages and some, their shortcomings. So there's been a lot about Zoom, privacy issues, etc. If you drill in below the hood of the big headlines, there are some logic and sense to it, but of course a lot of people are sensational grabbing. Zoom did do an update this week, which would fix a few of their security potential issues, but anytime a bit of software becomes popular, it becomes a target. Now Teams, I find, is a great tool, for business, fantastic, but when it comes to video conferencing, it's not necessarily its sweet spot in what Teams does as a whole. And Skype kind of was there for many years as well. Skype for Business I'm talking about. I think Teams, from a video conference perspective, has got to come a long way from the current metaphor that Microsoft has set up for it, which is very much a business or a boardroom meeting type presentation rather than a one-to-one. It needs to work on dual screens. It needs to have the ability for people to be more interactive, as well as providing the security control. Zoom I've used for 3 years. I use it to run all my 90-day mentoring challenge. I find it fantastic. It allows, around 50 odd people to get in the room at the time with their cameras on. They interact with the chat message and stuff. I find it very visceral and very live and very engaging. So it works for me. And I'll continue to pay for my own subscription for that, even though I have the free Teams, as part of being an MVP. I also find that it's a lot easier for anybody in the world. If I say invite them to Teams, they get into Teams without any issue. Rollback. If I say get into Zoom.us or send them a link, bang, they can get in. It just works, and we're away laughing. Where with Teams, there has been issues, particularly around when you have multiple team environments that you're a member of. It can be a nightmare. If you're just working one business, which is Microsoft's really own model, that it really only works with one business, it's fine. But if you're somebody like me that works for multiple companies at any one time, you get invited to their team environment with an email address from within those individual companies. So it's not like guest access, it's actually full member access to all those. And it can be challenging. It's not a perfect world yet. It works better on mobile apps than it has actually on desktop switching from that perspective. But it has got better, and that kind of bugbear I've had for a while has improved. Anyhow, what are you using? What are you using to spark up your video conference? I set up my brother today, helped him get started on it. For years had the feature and functionality they're using Office 365, just never switched on Teams, never activated it, never used that function, and now it's becoming a more important part of their business. And then they find out, hey, we're going to have cameras on those computers, and we're going to have microphones and things like that. Desktop computers for a lot of businesses don't necessarily have all those peripherals, and of course need to be invested in. So what are you doing for your video conferencing from a business perspective? What's working, what's not? And send me all your scaremongering links around why Zoom is insecure, etc. I still find it's my best tool for use, and I'll continue to use it. A lot of the scaremongering around what's wrong with it is not really, or is all you can solve and get around it if you're an educated user. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Nothing much. I'm just sitting in my little dark office, which is inside my barn. This is as much of my barn as you see at the moment, although I did some work in here today. Put up some coat hooks loft and things like that. Put some insulation in the walls. So started the insulation journey now. And yeah, anyhow, as we tackle into another week, let's see how we go. By midweek, we'll have finished 2 weeks in quarantine. Ciao for now.